Tonight's episode is brought to you by Smoother Ink.
Oh, it is? We got a sponsor?
No, I just threw that out there.
Oh, okay.
I just saw something and ran with it.
There
Hopefully
it
this,
is.
yeah, hopefully the brand name wasn't on there. They're just called Smoother Ink.
Nice. Anyway,
Yeah.
this here's the Bunny Rabbit's Hole.
Yeah.
We're at the Bunny Rabbit's Hole. We pick one topic each and every week, and we talk about that topic until something inspires us to talk about something different. However, today we don't really have a topic because we are going to kind of run down everything that we've done in the past, what we like, what we don't like, because we're going to use this episode as the intro to season 4. I just threw that at you beforehand, but this will be our first episode of season 4.
Right. As Jason said, normally we research stuff and blah 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 blah, and if you're easily offended by
blah blahs.
Yep. Hey, so just for a timeline for you all out there, today is August 14th, 2021, otherwise known as Free Comic Book Day.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Yep, I went to my local comic book shop. I got 3 comic books. I even got The Mighty 9, which was Critical Role second season. And my wife got 3, and then I spent $100 on comic books.
Nice. Well, you got to do you.
Yeah, well, it's supporting a local business.
Yeah, exactly. We love supporting America.
America.
Yeah. Just local business. It doesn't even have to be an American business, because when we do travel abroad, which we don't, we would shop at a local shop.
I would love to travel abroad, and I like to travel with a guy too.
Yeah.
Horrible joke. Thank you. That's my first one of the night.
That joke 1.
Yep.
Craig 0.
So before we go any further, have you ever watched the YouTube channel Casper Site?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, like Jason and I have talked about like doing reaction type videos, and this guy does, like, he's either English, Australian, not sure. He says mate a lot and bloody hell. But he like does reactions to, like, oh shit, what's that dude's name? Oh, Nuke's top 20 or top 5 ghost videos. He is hilarious. I've watched a couple of his episodes today, and they're funny. I recommend.
I'll have to. I just pulled it up over here, and I'll have to watch that because he apparently does a reaction video to Slapped Ham. There, Alan from Slapped Ham. So, which is another cool channel if you like paranormal and ghosts and weird fucking sightings.
Right. Yeah, but he's funny. His reactions are hilarious. He's screaming, he's hollering, he's funny.
Right on.
And Jason just inspired me to partake. If I can get the fucking lid out, Jesus Christ. Who puts a cork in a whiskey bottle? Woodford does. That's who.
That's it.
This episode is brought to you by B&B Liquor.
And pub beer.
There you go. Woo! That's got a bite. But it's good.
Okay. So most of you know that I work for a school system, a school district. And I was walking through the library the other day, and on the shelf was 2 books right next to each other. I couldn't believe that this primary school library would have these 2 books, but it blew my mind. One was Isaac Asimov's Strange Universe thing. And it was it's just like a picture book of oddities that happen in the universe, and black holes, and
I used to have a copy of that.
Twin suns and stuff. And then there's another one of a book of cryptids that and it says animals that may not actually exist. And
Oh, my wife's third graders love cryptids, but she's no longer a third grade teacher. She is now a preschool teacher.
so I bet you preschoolers love cryptids too.
Everybody loves cryptids. If
Yeah,
there, if everybody didn't, there wouldn't be 17 million YouTube channels about them.
right. I was pretty amazed though when I saw those two books on the bookshelf there. Uh-huh. There is hope for kids.
Yeah, well, I mean, you do live in a progressive state dominated by Bigfoot.
True. And
I unfortunately have a progressive governor and a bunch of fucking rednecks who look like Bigfoot.
who try to hunt the Michigan dogman.
Yeah, but have less teeth than Bigfoot, including me. I have like 3 teeth in my head.
Nice.
So I have, all right, because we're like freeforming tonight anyways, and
Yeah.
I know we're supposed to talk about other stuff, but so a couple weeks ago I finished teaching a class, teenagers for drawing and stuff like that, and I did it at our local art reach, and the director of art reach's daughter was in the class,
Oh, nice.
and she came in and said she didn't know how to draw anything. And in the 3 weeks of the class that she came to, she went from saying I can't draw to composing really good drawings.
Nice.
And
That's good to the
so,
future.
yep. So unfortunately I had to contact them to get paid, which I wasn't happy about, but mistakes happen. And they apologized profusely and paid me that same day I asked. So,
Nice.
but when I went to pick up the check, and this is like a little heartwarming story, you know? So I go to pick up my check and I'm talking with the director and we're chit-chatting, and she's like, I don't know what you did in your class, but my daughter hasn't been this excited about something in forever. So if you could teach another class, that'd be great. I know she would sign up for it.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, that's awesome. I mean, that feels good. But and I told her, I said, well, one of the things that I do is she kind of got into that talking down about herself thing. And I'm like, I don't tolerate that.
Mm.
Because she wants to be a history teacher. So I had her draw, and her favorite time period is like ancient Egypt. So I had her draw Snoopy as a pharaoh.
Right.
And she drew it. And I'm like, now, isn't that cool? Isn't that a cool way to teach kids about history? She's like, yeah, but nobody knows Snoopy. I'm like, oh, really? I grabbed her picture and took it over to another kid. Hey, who's this? Oh, that's Snoopy.
There you go.
And I came back. I'm like, you want to try a different angle?
Yeah, exactly.
It felt good. I mean, we should be picking each other up, not tearing each other down all the time.
Well, that's just the way that our country rolls anymore, is that ambush each other.
Yeah, with abject stupidity.
Most of the time, yes. Yeah, or then there's just abject stupidity. Some people are just fucking dumb.
Yeah, like for instance, a story that happened today. There's a guy that's banned from one of our stores, and he tried to get somebody else to go in and buy him beer, but my boss, the owner, was working today, and asked the guy, he's like, "Are you buying beer for that guy outside?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Give him his money back. I won't sell to him. He's banned." He's like, "Okay, no sweat off that guy's back. He's not out or anything."
Right.
So he goes out and gives the guy his money back, and the guy's like probably 5'2" and maybe weighs 85 pounds.
Okay.
And he pushes the guy, and this guy's big. He's built like a wrestler. He's like, "Don't push me again." The guy pushes again, gets his ass slammed to the concrete. Again, abject stupidity.
That's awesome.
Little man syndrome a little bit there too, maybe. I don't know.
A little bit.
But let's just try to be a little bit nicer to each other.
Yeah, even if you just do one nice thing a day, just start there.
Yes. Yeah.
You
Something small too, like saying, "Hey, that shirt looks good on you," or "Hey, I like your haircut."
Mhm.
Notice things about people. They like that.
So I did something nice the other day, and this is why this is the only way that I will say don't do what you just asked, because standing in line at a store and this dude came up and all he had in his hand was a pop and I had a few items. I'm like, jump in front of me, go ahead. He's like, oh, thanks, man. And then they ring up his pop and he's like, oh, now he needs a new vape cartridge. So he's like, oh, looking. And then the lady hands him the menu and he goes through and then he picks out the flavor that he wants. Oh, then he needed lottery tickets. Oh, then he needed a pack of smokes. I'm like, motherfucker, why did I let
Right.
this in front of me? So I would have been out and gone had I just paid. And, if I just would have, kept to myself, not worried about
Right.
anybody else.
But you did a nice thing for somebody else.
It was a thought that counted, and he felt that he could repay me by buying everything else in the store except for my items for me.
Right. Well, yeah, I don't tell you.
It is what it is. It was funny.
Oh, did I show you what my kid got me for my birthday?
No.
Dun 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 dun.
Oh,
Wolverine on a rock.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it. I'm a comic book guy. I like them. Today, in my spending of $100, I don't know why I'm doing this, but what the hell, why not? Have you looked into any of the death metal from DC?
From DC, like who?
I don't know. It's just, they're like, but I got 3 of them today, 3 of the graphic novels, like The Darkest Night,
Oh, nice.
Multiverse, Who Laughs, and War of the Multiverses. It's basically like Infinity Wars,
Right.
Different dimensions. And then I got, because cryptid.
Oh, nice.
But have you ever watched the show on Netflix, Captain Harlock?
I have not. I know what you're talking about, but I've not seen it.
I haven't watched either, but I'm like, I want to get back into comic books and I want to try something new. So I found it and I got issues 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, nice.
And one's
Nice.
just kind of plain cover, and then 3.
It's a cover.
Yep. And then my wife got a Neil Gaiman trade paperback graphic novel, whatever you call them. Oh, it's just a storybook. My bad. Is it drawn? Is the storybook drawn with panels? Oh, okay.
I mean, it's old school with words,
Right?
paragraphs, and grammar.
Right?
Of course, I haven't read one once in a while. But my brother lent me a book to read. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna love this." It was the latest Thomas Harris book. The guy who wrote Silence of the Lambs, the Hannibal Lecter stuff. But he's got it. He came out with a book about a year ago, and my brother lent it to me, and I have no idea where it went. It's in my house somewhere.
I did get some books while we were up north, and I don't know. Oh, hold on a second. I'll be right back.
So I'm sitting here talking to Venom, and as Venom's crawling out the wall of Craig's office.
So I got this book.
Okay.
I don't know if you can read it, but it's The Penguin Book of Exorcisms. I Conjure Thee, Old Serpent. So I'm like, apparently there's a bunch of exorcisms and stuff in it. I thought I'd read it, and maybe we'll do a podcast on it someday.
I like exorcism.
Yep, but I'm like, with all my schoolwork and stuff like that, it's gonna take me a while before I can read that.
That's the one thing that I've noticed. Even when I have a little bit of free time, I don't have any free time.
Right. Yeah. I was telling like my coworker today, I'm like, over the last year, between school, work, running out to my dad's, helping out over there, our house has gone to shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't keep up with the cleaning and stuff like that because we're always running.
Mm.
So today, that's kind of what we did. We brought some furniture down from Drummond Island. So we rearranged our whole downstairs living room and stuff like that. I mean, we're not done with it yet, but we cleaned, which is good. But there's a whole bunch of shit in there now. We moved the piano.
I don't know if you can make that out or not.
Yep.
That's a big pile of hair.
Yep. I swept up about a little bit more than that today from my dog.
That was that was 2 minutes of brushing one of my dogs.
Yeah.
And my whole house is just wall dog hair. So that's what I'm doing tonight, is vacuuming my entire house.
Yeah. Well, it's like I told my wife, I'm like, so I swept up a small puppy today. I mean, there was so much fucking hair, and my dog's a short hair.
Oh,
She doesn't have long hair.
yeah.
She's part pit, part American bulldog. It's, not even an inch long, but it's every fucking where.
Yeah, that was from Ripley, the meat, or the smallest Saint Bernard I have.
Right.
But I don't know if I showed everybody else here. Wait, hold that thought. I'll be right back.
Okay. And as we're holding that thought, you can follow Jason's dog on Instagram at Envy of Nations. That's Envy, ENVY, of OM Nations, NATIONS. And it's a big Saint Bernard. And then there's two more. Is that a cactus in his window? Or is that a bottle? Guys, leave me a note in the comments. Let's find out what's in Jason's windowsill. Is that looks like a cactus, like maybe a shampoo bottle, or maybe it's a spritzer.
It's an electronic screen cleaner.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hey, lay down.
I don't want to.
So my dogs are official Saint Bernards now.
Awesome.
After barrels. And it's actually functional. You can fill it with liquid. Holds 1 liter. It's got this cool little wooden tap.
Oh, cool.
But,
is it functional?
Yeah, it fully works.
Tap?
Yep.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
So they can carry their own water on walks.
Right.
And they all have their names burned in.
Oh, cool.
So.
I plugged Envy's Instagram page while you were gone.
Oh, nice. Good. Funny thing is, she has more Instagram followers than I do.
She probably has more than I do too. Probably has more than the two of us put together.
Probably. She's a hell of a lot more productive on Instagram than I am.
I can't remember the last time I got on it.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I supposedly use it to promote my art, but I've just been doing art for school lately, and I don't feel like sharing it because I'm just kind of burnt out of making art that other people tell me to make.
Yeah. No,
without getting paid for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different if you're paying me for it. I can find a shitload of inspiration.
Right. And you're actually paying quite a bit to do that art.
Right. Yeah.
Going to school is expensive.
Yes. But good news, I have 11 classes left. 5 of them will be done this fall term, and then the last 4 for the spring term, and I will be done.
Nice.
Yeah. And thank you. One of them is just a 3-week portfolio review, so that's easy.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I think 2 of them might be that, because I believe I have to do a senior portfolio review to graduate as well.
Okay, so now you're down to 9 classes.
Right. And unfortunately, I have to take another social sciences class, so I can't remember exactly what I did, but I think it's and another art history class, but I think I chose like history of international animation.
Oh.
Because it sounds interesting.
It does actually sound kind of interesting.
Yeah. Because I'm burnt out on the Renaissance. I am burnt out on, pretty much the Impressionist era, all that shit. I don't care about it anymore. I just want to be done and start creating shit.
Exactly. create shit and then sell it.
Right. Half time, I don't even care if I sell it. I just like creating shit because it's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not therapeutic to make art for school.
No, you know, when I was going through and getting my degree, there was a lot of shit that we ended up having to do that I just had no interest. And I struggled to go through, you know, just fuck, I limped through some of it just because I just didn't fucking care.
Right. I've reached that point this last year with school. I'm like, basically, I'm doing the minimum to get by just to be done.
Yeah. You know,
I'm not giving up though.
you know, the whole C's get degrees thing just kept running through my head.
Yep.
But on the other hand, what I eventually figured out, you know, actually it didn't take me long to figure this out, but you know, we both did online school, and one of the things that we had was um, a calculator of what your grade would be if you get these specific scores. So you can figure out what your grade would be if you were to get, you know, on these last couple of assignments, you could figure out. But then you figure, okay, if I do a half of this assignment, it's only 5% of the grade. If I get at least a 3 on it out of 5, then you know, that's not even going to drop me below an A level. So you can figure out, it's like I could spend 2 hours to get 2 points, or I could do this in 35 minutes, get 3 points, and call that good.
Right. That's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm like, I'm turning in shit that's not completed just to get points, just to pass my classes, because with the burnout, and then being on vacation doesn't help. Because I was on vacation last week. It was an awesome vacation. Wife and I were up in the UP. We paddled Pictured Rocks. And we did it without paying the shitloads of money they want you to pay. Because the paddle Pictured Rocks, it's like, and there's 4 of us. They supply you with a kayak. They drop you off in a boat. You have a tour guide, blah, 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 blah. It's like $186 a person.
A person?
Yeah. And I was like, so we found a beach in Munising. I believe it's called Miners Beach. And it's right next to Pictured Rocks. So we went to the beach. My wife and daughters brought their paddle boards. I brought my kayak. We dragged them down to the beach, hopped in the water, and paddled Pictured Rocks for free.
You know, for $187 a person, they better tow me.
Right. Well, I mean, the tour guide's wearing a helmet and all this other shit. I'm like,
right.
And was rude. Yes, cut us off. I'm like, how are you practicing water safety? You're supposed to be a tour guide. You're supposed to be an example for these people.
Right.
But yeah, it was. I recommend if you're gonna paddle Pictured Rocks, do it yourself. Don't spend $186.
Yeah.
And wear a life jacket because Lake Superior ain't no joke.
True.
I mean, if you remember our shipwrecks episode, you stay off the Great Lakes in October, November. They'll fuck you up. They're unforgiving.
Exactly. You know, remember there's rogue waves that happened in there. Ships at 700-foot length have been devastated by them. Just go back and listen to our shipwreck.
Yeah. Well, just last week there was a guy up there kayaking. They had to send out a search party. They found his kayak, but never found him.
Oh.
So I mean, Lake Superior gets some really wicked currents, and like that day when we were out there, luckily my oldest daughter was with us because she noticed the storm coming in. I was too enamored with what I was doing to pay attention.
Yeah, you don't want to be out there then.
Nope. So she's like, hey, we got to get back. I'm like, why? She's like, because the current's changing, it's getting hard, and there's the storm. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna argue with you. I trust you. Let's go.
You know, getting back to, you know, normal life, you know, you're out there kayaking and doing all this other stuff. I next week get to go to my first concert since COVID hit.
It's not Kid Rock, is it?
No, not
Thank
Kid
God.
Rock. No, my son and I are going to go to a little place called Bossa Nova in Portland, and we're going to see a band called Lich King. They're a thrash metal band.
Yep.
And Bossa Nova is
Were
kind
they,
of, what's that?
was Lich, are they like a new or are they old?
They're newer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard of them, but I didn't remember when I'd heard of them.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know, they've been around about 10 years or so.
Okay.
But they've got a few good albums, but this place Bossa Nova is it's a weird concert venue hall because I've seen all sorts of different types of bands there, but the funny thing is there's this huge crystal ball in the middle of the thing, so you can watch whatever band's on there. You look up and you see this crystal ball that's in the shape of a cowboy hat
Right.
on the ceiling. It's like, all right. But it's one show that I saw there was Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't know who they are, they're a bunch of guys from older punk bands that got together and then they do tunes that everybody knows, but they make them as punk tunes. The most famous one that you probably heard is you've heard the metal version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It's been in a shitload of movies. But I'm at that show one time and I'm just kind of standing there and then it just kind of dawned on me. It's like, start looking at the crowd. So I'm looking around and here's this guy next to me. He's full on Judas Priest leathered out, man. The fucking studs, the fucking, the Brian Johnson leather cap type of thing, and this dude is just singing to them as they're doing Elton John's Daniel song. I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then it dawned on me on the other side, here's this color sporting gangster on the other side of me singing the exact same song.
Oh, wow.
Standing next to me, it's like, so that's what I love about shows like that. It's like everybody knew every word to every song. Everybody,
Right.
There wasn't just a niche group of people that were there. It was a wide variety of people that were there.
Right.
But it was one of those moments where you just get lost in how happy it makes you feel that everybody's together enjoying the same experience. There's no racial divide. There's no, religious divide, political divides. Everybody was just there for the same fucking purpose, to have some fun and listen to these songs.
Right.
And it was a great time.
Wear a mask.
Yeah.
I just had to put that out there because, granted, we had 2 nights of Kid Rock playing at the casino here in town. But I got to look at the upside. The business we got at our stores those 2 days pretty much paid everybody's salaries for the week plus much more.
Yeah.
So it benefited us. I can't stand Kid Rock. I can't stand his fans. I'm like, as I told Jason before we started, when Kid Rock sings, he makes Bob Dylan sound good. And I wouldn't call it singing. I'd call it more like
cackling.
Yeah, I don't know. It's horrible. There's no worse sound in the world to me than the sound of when Kid Rock opens his mouth.
Well, the thing about Kid Rock that gets me is he portrays himself. Well, first he was like this rapper, early in his hip hop artist, went early in his career, and then he went like pseudo Southern country.
Yeah.
And he's the trucker hat sporting icon to all these people. He grew up in a $5 million house.
Mm-hmm.
His dad is extremely wealthy. So it's like, yeah, it's all an act.
Yep. Well, and he's a prick.
Yeah.
He fired one of his guitarists once because his wife was pregnant. He barely, like my wife says, he barely pays his band minimum wage because he used to date a guy that was a drummer that was friends with a lot of people down in the Detroit area who would play for him, and they made like $10 an hour playing for him.
Nice.
So he's a piece of shit, really, when it comes down to it. Sorry for all you Kid Rock fans that are listening. To each their own. It's all preference. It's just not mine.
Not mine either.
But other than that, yeah, life.
Since we started doing this podcast, this is our third year of doing it.
Is it really?
Yeah, we're in our third year of doing it because we started in 2018.
Okay, yep.
And just the things in our world that has changed just in those years.
Oh shit, yeah. Especially the last 2 years.
Yeah.
With the pandemic and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. The world's gone crazy. I mean, the violence in the town. I live in a small town in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be this calm, peaceful town. We've had shootings, stabbings, all this other shit. But with the whole quarantine thing, most people don't have anything to do but fight, fuck, or drink.
Right.
Or smoke, or do drugs.
Yeah.
Which usually leads to the fucking and fighting part.
Not necessarily in that order.
Right. And the drinking does as well.
Yeah.
But people are just going stir crazy. Everybody's tired of being cooped up.
Mm-hmm.
Even though nobody's really cooped up anymore because we're open to everything.
Yeah.
But they still have the cooped up mentality. They can't let it go. And that scares me. I mean, because, the pandemic to me was, quarantine, awesome. I don't have to leave the house.
I loved it. It's like the people in my house were lucky I was wearing pants.
Right. And all my kids had moved out during that time. So it was just me and the wife. And that was awesome.
Over the years, I pretty much mirrored what my parents did when at their age. They used to go out and do things all the time. And then as they started getting older, they started becoming more homebodies. And then they became like fucking recluse, where they just stay in their house unless they have to go somewhere.
Right.
And as I got older, I did the exact same thing. Yeah. So COVID really didn't bother me.
No, not really. And I'm not going to tell people they have to get vaccinated or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I listen to these people. I see them all day at work and all this shit spewing off all this nonsense, going, well, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it was a rush vaccine. I get it. That scared me too, but I got it.
Mm-hmm.
But, sorry, the peanut gallery threw in her 2 cents and just undermined everything I said.
What did she say?
She's like, no, it's been under research for 18 years,
Mm.
which I believe her because she knows more about it than I do. But still, I mean, the people, yeah, you can still catch COVID with quarantine. Your mortality rate is much higher.
Mm.
Yeah, the vaccine.
With vaccine.
Yeah, you can still catch COVID with the vaccine, but
there was a
better chance of living it.
Yeah, there was a Carnival cruise line that had 38 people on their ship test positive while they're on their ship and have to be quarantined. Every one of them was vaccinated, so you can still get it.
Mm-hmm.
But the chances of you dying are less.
Right. I mean, I think it came down after the science and the math, it was like a 0.01% chance.
Mm-hmm.
So like a 1% chance of actually passing away if you're vaccinated. I mean, we live in scary times, but we've always lived in scary times.
I think the part that's really getting to the people that, especially in my neck of the woods, is the fact that sure, we've been cooped up and all this, but we've had some extreme weather here the last couple of years.
You had 2 fucking tropical storms square dancing out in the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah. I mean, there was one of my coworkers has an aunt and uncle that live in Arizona, Now I live basically in Portland, Oregon. They came up here and were freaking out because it was hotter here than it was in Arizona, and this is in July. We had 2 days where it was 116 degrees here. It was stupid. Yesterday it was 105.
We've had quite a few days in the mid 90s here.
Yeah.
And I mean, we usually get like maybe 1 week of that a summer, but we've had quite a few this year. And I had read an article, I want to say like 6 or 7 years ago, that was talking about climate change and global warming and what it would do. And one of their theories was it reverse the polarities. So Florida would end up with Michigan weather, Michigan would end up with Florida weather.
Right.
You know, because when those those icebergs melt up in the Arctic and that cold water hits the warm water, it changes the current and everything goes to shit.
And especially with all that fresh water hitting salt water, it changes the salinity.
Yep.
Which changes the flow of the water. But I took this photo yesterday or 2 days ago.
Holy shit.
That's the pavement right outside my office.
You could definitely cook an egg on that.
Yeah.
It would be burnt in 2 seconds.
We had on that 116-degree day, we had a teacher take some of those Toll House cookies and put them on a baking sheet, put them in the window of her car, and she cooked cookies.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So it
really
was
good.
I just saw the video that she made.
Oh, all right.
But the reason I did that, I took that picture was because earlier in the day I saw a guy walking his husky, and when the dog found some shade, it laid down.
Right.
Like its feet are probably burnt.
Right.
Jackass. So I get thinking, so I grabbed that digital thermometer we have. It shoots a laser down and checks the temperature of whatever. And I shot the ground, and the first one was only 132. I'm like, ooh, that's bad. And so I got out my phone to take a picture of that, and it was that picture there. It was 134.
Holy shit.
Like, that's not good for their little feet.
No. Nope. No, my dog goes outside to pee and then wants back in the air conditioning.
Yeah.
and my dog's all white.
Well, my dogs are pretty much the same way. They're done when it gets hot like this. They, like right now, 2 of them are just laying right here.
Right.
The other one's down on even though the air conditioning's on, the other one's down on the tile floor with it, putting her pure raw belly on this cold tile.
Right. Tell you what, for those of you out there that are new to drinking, if you get drunk and you're nauseous and it's time to go to bed, if you have like a tile bathroom and like a carpeted hallway, you lay half on the tile and half on the carpet, you'll get a good night's sleep.
Does it stop the room from spinning?
Yep. It stops you from overheating and freezing. I recommend having your feet on the carpet and the top half on the tile. Plus, that way your head's closer to the toilet if you have to throw up.
Right. And if you do, it's easier to clean puke off tile than it is off the carpet. So
yes.
And
yes,
that's also, if you're ever going to do that, it's also stands to reason that before you do it, you should really clean your toilet.
Yes.
Before you even start.
Yes, because just the smell of it alone will start that whole gag reflex.
Yep. And as soon as the mouth starts salivating, start running.
You get that warm saliva underneath your tongue, and that it's over at that point.
Yeah.
This is the physics of vomiting while drunk.
And knowing is half the battle.
Right. So I'm curious to what our viewers would like us to talk about. All 24 of our subscribers.
We're up to 24 now, huh?
Yep. At least on YouTube. I don't know about anything else. So, but But, you know, how could they contact us, Jason?
Well, you can contact us on our social media accounts. Twitter and Instagram are both the Bunny's Hole. And then you can contact us through our email address, which is thebunnyrabbitshole@gmail.com. Or you can use the contact form that's on our website, thebunnyrabbitshole.com.
Sweet. We have a Pinterest too, which has 422 followers because I just started following, or 421 monthly views with 2 followers.
Nice. Are you the second follower?
Yep, I just followed it.
Nice.
Are you the first?
I do believe that's the Bunny's Hole as well, right? Or is that the Bunny Rabbit Hole?
Hold on, let me tell you. I have to back up. It's Bunny Rabbit's Hole.
Okay.
Oh no, it's Bunny Rabbit's Hole, then parentheses, the Bunny Rabbit's Hole.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Then I'm gonna go check out we're doing I know this is kind of a boring episode, but yeah, it's a boring day.
It's a boring time.
Yep. I mean, I spend my time anymore watching. We have 485, or no, we have 132 followers on Twitter. But you know, I spend my time, there's a show with these Brits that I like, called No Rolls Barred, which they play board games through Zoom, but they're getting with them getting their COVID under control they're going to start doing it together.
Oh,
or
nice.
I watch people mow lawns that are overgrown.
I watched about that. That's funny.
I watched this Asian guy who finds rusted up like tools and chainsaws and shit and then restores them.
I've watched that guy before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like and you know, he doesn't do any talking. It's just getting it all done.
So I watch a lot of best of lists, like on The Richest and Watch Mojo and a bunch of those. I watch a lot of Comics Explained. Watch a lot of Easter egg videos on the latest Marvel shows episodes or Rick and Morty shows that came out. I don't know if you've seen the first episode of What If.
Nope.
Really cool.
I still have yet to watch the last episode of Loki.
Which is probably the most important episode that Marvel has done going forward.
Right. I believe it.
First time they tie what's going to happen in the movies to something that didn't happen in a movie.
Nice.
Yeah. So
well, that's good.
They stood true to their word that the shows would reflect and push forward the movies, the cinematic universe. And
nice.
The last episode of Loki does that. Now, What If was just like the old What If comics.
Right. It's animated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is one. What if Peggy Carter got the super serum instead of Steve Rogers?
Oh, and became Captain America.
Yeah. It was really cool. It was interesting. It was an interesting take on it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, I'm gonna check it out, and I will watch the stuff. I get so wrapped up in the other stuff that when I want to watch something, I want to watch something that's gonna relax me.
Yeah.
And for some reason, watching people mow overgrown lawns relaxes me. Or there's one guy who you don't want to listen to him talk, but he goes around and like streets are flooding, so he cleans the debris off the drains and unclogs them, so that way the streets can drain and they're no longer flooded.
There you go.
I watch some weird shit, man.
Well, that was last winter. I was talking about having extreme weather. We got 1.5 feet of snow, which is something we don't get around here.
That's called Monday in Michigan.
Yeah. But as it was all melting away, the neighbor was out there with a a weed burner, like a torch attached to a propane thing out there melting the ice around the storm drain because all the chunks had packed up around there that all the water was around that. So he's trying to melt the ice with that. I'm like, good luck.
Right. Put some salt on it, man.
Well, okay. So
I know you told me, but you tell the audience.
they don't use salt on the roads out here. They use gravel or a chemical deicer. So one time I was talking to a bunch of guys this when I was doing construction. I was talking about the care for the roads. I'm like, why don't you fucking people use salt? And the guy looked me in the face like, I don't want that fucking shit in my truck. I've seen cars that come from the Midwest, man, they're all fucking rust buckets. I'm like, yeah, but they can still drive on the road when they get
Right.
2 inches of snow. And I go,
Right.
don't you take your truck on the beach next to the Pacific Ocean, which is salt water?
Right.
So it's still getting salt all over it, but you don't want this salt. But that's okay. And then another one's like, well, all that fucking salt just gets into our streams, man. Like, yeah, and those streams run into the Columbia River, which runs into the Pacific Ocean, the largest saltwater body on the planet.
Right.
I think you'd rather a chemical deicer. The fucking name is chemical deicer.
Right.
Salt is a mineral. It's made by nature. Chemical deicer, not natural. You would rather have chemical deicer, which doesn't work, by the way.
Right.
It's like it's like pouring Pam cooking spray on top of the snow, and it does nothing.
Well, and I mean, you put salt on food.
Yeah.
You
actually kind of need it to live.
Right. I don't know. I don't get the logic of it. Because I've got a van that's a 2002.
Uh-huh.
It's almost 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Not a speck of rust on it.
Right. People don't understand that car washes still work in the winter.
Right.
I bet you could taking his truck through there in February.
Right. And when you do though, get some lock deicer.
Okay.
Because your locks are gonna freeze.
Yeah.
Especially in Michigan. I don't know, lately, the last couple winters here though, they've been warm. Usually like January and February are our worst months of the year because it's wind chill factor of like -15 and all this other shit, and it's like -2 outside. I don't think we hit that in the last 2 years.
Wow.
And so I'm like going, winter's not so bad, and everybody's like bitching about it. And like people right now are bitching about summer and wishing fall and winter on us. I'm like, hey, shut the fuck up.
Get right.
I've only been on my kayak 5 times since I got it. I need more time on the water.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which is cool, because while we were up in the UP, I bought a new paddle for mine, which is longer, but it also has padded grips on it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I used to have an inflatable kayak that I used to take down a river, and the first time I rolled it, I realized I need tethers for everything.
Mm-hmm.
I went out and bought a paracord.
Yeah.
And I bought these little clips that could, like buckles for like backpacks and shit like that.
Right.
A whole bunch of those, and then my oar, my cooler, my safety or life vest, my shoes, everything that was in there, and I had a dry bag, and now everything was tethered to it.
Right. Nice.
As long as I could get to the boat, I still had everything.
Right. See, mine has a compartment in it that's waterproof.
Mm-hmm.
I just pop it open, throw all the shit in there, close it, and latch it.
Nice.
Yeah. Granted, every time we go kayaking, somebody fills my kayak with rocks that she needs to bring home, and then it makes it really hard to carry back to the van. I pick them up and skip them on the water.
That's funny.
Yeah, but we're into that stuff. I mean, hell, we've done a whole episode on crystals, so you know how much we're into rocks.
That's true. That's true. And I have a half pound of black tourmaline right here.
Oh, nice. Where'd mine go? I don't know. Oh, I did find some really cool books up north. Show them to you guys. I got How to See by Thich Nhat Hanh, How to Connect by Thich Nhat Hanh, and How to Relax by Thich Nhat Hanh.
Oh, nice.
So years ago, I read a book by Thich Nhat Hanh on anger and how to manage it and how to not let it control you.
Right.
And it was probably one of the best things I ever done for myself, but was reading that book.
That's
Because
cool.
it helped me let go of a lot of anger. What you looking up?
I was looking up that book actually.
Yeah. Found it at Snowbound Books in Marquette. I paid $9.95 plus tax for it.
All three or each?
Huh? Each.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the How to Relax goes, when we are stressed, we are not only less happy and less productive, we make those around us as unhappy as well. Thich Nhat Hanh shares techniques for bringing our lives back into balance. These short meditations on healing, resting, solitude, and being unbusy offer the pleasure of relaxation no matter where you are.
Nice.
With Sumi ink drawings by Jason DeAntonis. DeAntonis? I don't know how to say his name. But like, here's an example of one of his drawings.
Sloth.
Yep. Hey, nobody knows how to relax like a sloth does.
That's true. That is true. Sometimes I feel like a sloth.
Yep. Oh, sometimes I envy sloths.
Sometimes I work with them.
Yep. I'm lucky now though. We all the employees that we have right now all work. You know, they're all got the right idea. We're all working towards the same goal. We're all trying to be productive every day.
Nice.
It makes for a nice work environment. It really does.
Yeah.
You know,
I get
it's
that.
not everybody cleaning up after somebody else.
True. I don't have a good work environment right now.
I am very sorry about that.
It was funny. One of my coworkers stopped and she's never done anything like this before, but she stopped and she stared right at me. I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. And she goes, Jason, you have had to put up with a lot of shit this last 2 years. I commend you.
Nice.
And she goes, most people would have not have handled it like you have. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Because there's a lot of shit.
I mean, if you look at it though, I mean, we both have that philosophy of it's not what happens to you in life that defines you, it's how you handle what happens to you in life.
Exactly.
You know, if you let all the little shit weigh you down, you're just gonna drown.
Yeah, it's like the book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, I don't.
I mean, like lately, like I get out of work and I leave work at work. I have like employees calling me or text me. I'm like, call the owner or call the other guy. I'm off.
Right.
You know, if they're busy, I'll take care of it. If not, nope.
I'm working harder to just differentiate work and home. Like not answering emails, a text now and again is fine, but not checking my email, my work email while I'm at home.
Right.
I'm not getting paid to do it. And it's one of the things I used to complain about with the teachers is we had this one kinder teacher that was there from 6:30 in the morning till 7 or 8 at night, every night, and then there on the weekends. Like, she makes less than minimum wage. If you count up the amount of hours that she works there, divided by the amount of money she's paid, she is making, because she doesn't have overtime, she's salary, so she is working for minimum wage,
Right.
probably less than. And
The
then,
peanut gallery said, get a life.
yeah, then the same teacher calls up our IT department and says, hey, I really need those files that are on that computer. Can I bring a thumb drive in and have them backed up? And he says, I'll put them on a thumb drive. You can go to the district office and pick them up.
Right.
We were not letting her back in the building before school's open.
Good.
And the principal's like, no, she can come in as a guest after we're set up, but not before. We're still a construction zone because we're still trying to get carpet in some of our classrooms. We open for school
Right.
in 2 weeks and we have rooms that don't even have carpet yet.
Oh shit, my wife goes back to work next week.
Yeah, they all come back to work next week, but
Yep.
5 of them don't have carpet in their rooms, so they can't even work in their rooms.
Peanut gallery said they're freaking out.
Oh,
Actually, what she said was, oof, they're freaking out.
they are. We're freaking out too because so here it is, August 14th. They ran out of carpet on July 7th. The new carpet was manufactured, delivered from New York to the state of Washington, to our school on the 22nd of July. They've still not been back to work.
Really?
To finish it, yeah.
And nobody's been on the phone going, where the fuck you at?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
So
And
we called last Thursday, or no, sorry, it was last Monday, because they were supposed to start on the 9th. So at 2 p.m., our project manager calls them up, and the salesman proceeds to tell him this story, this wild tale of, well, their van was broken into, their tools were stolen, and they wrecked the steering column trying to steal the van. And now our project manager said that to me, and then he sent out an email afterwards, but when he's talking to me, I'm like, they never heard of Enterprise and Home Depot? They can rent the tools and rent a truck.
right.
And he just sat there and went, dead air on the other end of the phone. It's like, John, get him down here to get this fucking carpet done.
Right.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Or
At this point, the first graders are going to come, their first day of school is going to be learning how to install carpet.
right. Well, it's like we went through 3 weeks of July with no ice deliveries for our ice machines for people to buy bags of ice.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
3
I was
weeks.
on. Yeah, and I called the first week of July. I said, hey, we need ice. Oh yeah, I've got you scheduled for tomorrow for both stores. They'll be there tomorrow. They weren't there tomorrow. They weren't there the next week. And then my boss like, hey, I'm like, I've called several times. He's like, you have? I'm like, yes. I called on Monday. I called on Wednesday. I called on Thursday.
Mm.
And they keep telling me tomorrow.
Wow.
I'm like, our ice bins are empty for 3 weeks. And when I'm on the phone with them, I'm like, you realize we are a liquor store. We sell beer and liquor. And in summertime, what do people buy with beer and liquor? Ice for their coolers.
Yes.
So I'm losing business because
for the
of your
styrofoam
lazy
cooler
asses.
that they just bought.
Right. I'm like, I am losing business because you guys aren't showing up.
Yeah.
And you keep telling me we'll be there tomorrow. Well, tomorrow has come and gone like 16 times now. It is now the 23rd of July. I have not gotten ice at all this month. And they're like, so I got off phone from them. Then my boss finally called and got a hold of the manager, and they came and delivered ice. And because we get the 5 pound or the 7 pound bags and the 20 pound bags. And after my boss got done talking to him, we got all the 7 pound bags for free.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
And then amazingly, they were there the next week to deliver ice again. They're like, oh, you need ice? Yeah, motherfucker, go put ice in the machine.
Now, I'll admit that would not be a job I'd want, to be an ice delivery guy.
Oh, these guys are fucking idiots and they're lazy as fuck.
Mm,
They came in one day like, oh, it don't look like you need ice. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I have like three 7-pound bags. Fill the fucking thing up now. You're here. Get off your ass and fucking do it.
3 bags, that last a week.
Right. Ugh. Yeah, it's a shitty job, but I mean, really, is it though? Because you're delivering ice in the summer, it's hot,
Yeah.
and you're carrying something that's cool.
No, I've watched them fill up the ice machines in one of the grocery stores out here, and it was this young lady. She's got fucking ski gloves on, throwing them in there. And it's like, okay, there'd be times when that job would suck.
Yeah, wintertime sucks.
Yeah.
But I mean, like at our one store, our ice machine's in the store.
Mm,
And, at the other one, it's outside, but it's still under the awning and stuff, so it's protected.
yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I'm on like two sides of the fence about this whole paying people to stay home thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten into an argument with my dad about it. Because he's like, it's stupid paying people to stay home. I said, well, you realize that. He's like, well, they're getting paid more to stay home. I said, well, if businesses would pay a living wage, these people wouldn't stay home.
Yeah.
It's the employers that have created this whole dilemma.
If I saw this thing the other day, it said, if people are making more on unemployment than they are working for you, you're not a job creator. Oh shit. The phrase is, you're a poverty enabler.
I like that. Yeah.
So,
well, and I mean, people don't go into business to give shit away. I get that. You're going into business to make money.
Yes.
But if you have, and that's what I love about my boss, because he has this philosophy. If you have happy employees, you have productive employees. Right. Productive employees make you more money.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you want your employees to be happy?
Mm-hmm.
I would. And I do everything I can to keep our employees happy.
Yeah.
If they have an issue, I listen to them. I help them work it out. Like one of them was going to quit because she didn't have daycare. We figured it out for her.
Right. Yeah.
And the daycare ended up being my wife for a while, but it got her a chance to get on her feet. So now that she can go out and get daycare.
Exactly. And that was a great thing you two did for her. For somebody you barely know.
Well, her daughter is just adorable. She's a sweetheart. Smart as a whip.
That's awesome. And the other side to that too is there's companies that go out of their way to try to make it a fun culture, but it's fake. And I read this article about this company that was putting in pinball machines and ping pong tables, video game machines and all this other stuff in their office to, when they have a break, they could go do this.
Right.
And the one guy simply said, how about another vacation day?
Right.
How about better health care?
Right.
Those things also make for a happy employee. Like I watched this this week with what's that guy's name? The English guy that does that show on HBO, that's the commentary one, kind of like the Daily Show. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He was doing a thing about ambulance services.
Okay.
Now, in 39 of our 50 states, ambulance or an ambulance service is not considered an essential service like the police or the fire. So most places, they're either under the umbrella of fire or they're a private company just trying to stay afloat.
Right.
And they were talking about this guy was saying he works for basically minimum wage. He's a paramedic. He basically works for minimum wage, has no health care, couldn't afford an ambulance ride himself. Such a sad state of affairs when the person who does life-saving, this is the person you count on if somebody was to have a heart attack or something.
Right.
This person is going to save their life till they can get to the doctor.
Right.
But most of them don't even have their own health care.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty fucked up.
That's beyond fucked up.
And there was a one where a lady steps out of New York City taxi or subway, and her foot shoots between the car and the ramp.
Ooh.
And gets pinned. Well, everybody else was like rocking the train to try to get her leg out, and she the whole time you can watch that. You can watch this video online. The whole time she's screaming, "Don't call an ambulance! I can't afford it! Don't call an ambulance! I can't afford it!" And it's like that's the first thing that hit her was, "Please don't call an ambulance because I can't afford it." That's a sad state of affairs right there.
Yeah, when you get in an accident, something that's entirely not your fault, and it bankrupts you,
right?
Because of the cost of the treatment.
Yeah, but then
something fucked up about that.
Some of and then there's a flip side to that too. Is some of the private contractors that do it, they only get paid if the person is brought to the hospital.
Right.
So when they go and do, choking or CPR or something like that at somebody's house, and they don't deliver them to the hospital, they don't get paid for that. The company doesn't.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. So there was this one thing where husband and wife were on the way to the hospital because the woman was in labor.
Okay.
They are like a half a mile from the hospital and the baby's coming. So he has to pull over to the side of the road. He delivers the baby. A couple of other people had stopped and helped do this. They call the paramedics. The paramedics come. They cut the umbilical cord. They wrap her up, put mom and baby in the hospital or into the ambulance, drive them the 2 minutes it takes to get to the hospital. And then a month later, mom gets a bill for $1,700 and the baby gets a bill for $1,700. They charge them both $1,700 for a 2-minute ride.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, supposedly the richest country in the world, we treat our citizens like shit.
Yeah. We talk about how, the life and, of these people in these other countries like China or whatever, yeah, they don't have a lot of freedoms, but, for the most part, they have socialized medicine. They have, a lot of services in their countries that we don't offer.
Right.
Like,
right.
China may have a restricted internet access. However, their actual speed to their internet is like 30 times what ours is.
So no more buffering with porn?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Sometimes I feel like I still have fucking dial-up.
Yeah, they probably don't get porn since they're limited what they can access.
Yeah. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, we say it feels like dial-up, but I remember having dial-up. You would go, oh, I'm going to download this 3-minute song. If I started at 6 a.m., maybe when I get out of work at 6 tonight, it'll be downloaded.
Right. The back.
Yeah, if you don't lose your connection.
Back in the days when, there was Napster and Morpheus and LimeWire and Pirate Bay and a bunch of those other torrent sites that you could borrow music from. I remember that. It's like you were downloading, like you only wanted to download 4 or 5 songs at a time, because any more than that, and then it would take a month to get them all.
Right. Yep. You had to be you had to be really picky. And now we don't download shit. We just go to YouTube and watch it.
Yes.
I can't even tell you the last time I turned Pandora on.
I have Spotify instead,
Mm.
and I use that when I'm walking around the house and stuff with headphones. But
Right.
you know, most of the time, if I'm up here in my office, I'm watching YouTube, and I watch
Right.
so much YouTube that it's actually worth it to me to pay the $11 a month to not have commercials.
Same here. I've actually parted ways with WWE.
Uh-oh.
Yep. They released too many people for what they call budget cuts.
Uh-huh.
When since the pandemic hit and they stopped traveling, they've had record profits.
Right.
And they released a lot of my favorite stars for just bullshit reasons. And after that, I'm just like, yeah, because every week, even when before they released people, it was the same match over and over and over again.
Oh.
Repeated every week. And it was like these storylines that it's just the same two people fighting every week for like 12 weeks. I'm like, you know what? I'm done with it.
That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
No. And so and if they get something good, their creative team just sucks so bad.
Oh, really?
That they botch it. They don't know how to book, a good storyline. And after that, I'm just like, yeah, I'm done.
And that's
so
kind of the point of that is storylines.
Yeah.
You know, the acrobatics, the showmanship and everything, but you don't get any of that without the carnival barker aspect.
Right.
That's exactly what they are, but they have to sell why they're going to fight this guy that they're going to go with afterwards.
Right.
Yeah. I love all those old stories like oh shit. Was Razor Ramon's real name?
Scott Hall.
Scott Hall. So I listened to a podcast a while ago on him, and it was just some of the stories that they talked about of the travel that they would do. It'd be like 8 of these big dudes in a van driving from city to city, and they're talking about, Hall would be drunk in the back of the van the entire time, and one time they were broke down and none of them knew how to change a van tire. And, they've come a long way from that to where they are now. But the part that I found was funny about it was those are some of the people that he was fighting against that were in that van riding with him.
Right. Yeah, they all got in trouble because they had what was called the clique, which was Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels, and Hunter Hearst Helmsley. So Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were leaving WWE to go to WCW. Their last match was a tag team match with Shawn Michaels, who was the heavyweight champion at the time, and Hunter Hearst Helmsley against Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. And at the end of it, they're in Madison Square Gardens. At the end of it, they all hugged because they knew Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were leaving.
Oh.
And because you can't punish the champion, Shawn Michaels got away with it. But Hunter Hearst Helmsley went from getting a huge push to the bottom of the ladder.
Oh, shit.
And had to work his way up.
And of course, he was nowhere near a contract renegotiation, so he wasn't able to go.
Yeah, and he wasn't married to the boss's daughter at the time either.
Okay.
But he's married to her now, and that's not protecting him either. So, but I don't know. I lost interest in it because it's just now there's this other company, AEW, that are putting on amazing matches and stuff like that and changing it up and keeping things fresh.
Oh, nice.
But I don't have cable, so I can't watch it. Because I tried to get like a TNT Zooming app on my Roku, but you have to sign in with your TV provider. I'm like, I don't have a TV provider.
That drives me nuts. So
But I dropped Hulu, I dropped Peacock because all I had them for WWE.
oh, nice.
I don't watch it anymore, so that saved me $15 a month or
I
16 bucks a month.
I don't have, or I have Hulu through my Disney bundle. So and then ESPN Plus, but I got so many fucking streaming services I need to cut back.
Yeah.
I have Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, YouTube Premium, HBO Max, Netflix, Amazon Prime,
Yeah.
Peacock.
I've got Amazon Prime. Well, I now have the free Peacock version. I no longer pay for it.
Hmm.
I've got Netflix. I've got YouTube Premium. And I cut out, like I said, cut out Hulu. I stopped paying. Well, I used to have the WWE network, but then they went to Peacock, so I was paying for that. Cut that out. And honestly, I could probably get by without the other ones because all I ever watch is YouTube.
Yeah. So I've been enjoying HBO Max just because this year they put all their movies that are like their big movies that go to the cinema are premiering on HBO Max too.
Right.
And like the Suicide Squad, this one that James Gunn just did, he's the guy that directed the first two or the two Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Right.
The Suicide Squad that just came out is really good.
Yeah, I want to see it.
It might, after Wonder Woman, it might be my favorite DC movie so far.
Nice. Wonder Woman was good. I enjoyed Wonder Woman.
I did too. I thought it was really well done. The second one, Wonder Woman 1984, no, it just didn't have the charm.
Right. I mean, I still enjoyed it.
It was a good movie, but it felt forced.
Yeah, but for a DC movie, it was good.
Yeah. It still might be in the top 5 of the DC movies that came out so far.
Well, honestly, like their TV series are better than their movies.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not the Heather Locklear version.
No, it's on the CW.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of their TV series. I watched like 5 or 6 episodes of it and then forgot about it, so I haven't finished it. But I might get back to it probably about the same time I watched Loki. They're like 6 months.
Right.
But I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It was good acting with no-name people, which I sometimes enjoy that,
Yeah.
Seeing new stars being built,
Mm-hmm. I've seen a bunch of The Flash. I've seen a bunch of Arrow. I thought those were really well done.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Gotham, even though it wasn't a CW one. Where the first couple seasons of Gotham were pretty good.
Yeah.
Then it kind of went off the rails a little bit.
Yeah.
But I heard Titans is pretty good.
I watched some of that. I can't remember what I watched on, but like not the one that was on the DC channel or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dark, and that's why I liked it. It was dark and violent, which you don't see a lot of that in DC. That's more of a like Marvel thing or like an Image thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a nice change. But honestly, like the TV version of the Flash is so much better than the cinematic version.
Well, yeah, there was actually a big push to try and do what Marvel, the MCU is going to do, and bringing in like Charlie Cox from Daredevil from the Netflix show to be Daredevil in the MCU. And it was
cool.
a big push to try to get that same kid that plays Barry Allen in Flash to take over the role in the movies.
Right.
Because they liked him a lot better than the other kid.
Yeah. I mean, the other kid, he's probably a good actor. I just didn't like him in the role.
I didn't like his
the way
portrayal.
he's portrayed. Yeah.
I didn't like his portrayal.
No. I just thought it was lame. It was like they were trying to copy Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah.
With young kid trying to be funny, blah blah blah. failed miserably at it, but
Mhm.
Tom Holland was at least funny.
Right. Now, I'm glad you brought that up because this next Spider-Man movie is going to be extremely interesting because they are going to actually really bring in the multiverse
Hmm.
because both Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire will also be in it as Spider-Man.
Right.
Alfred Molina, who played Doc Ock, and Jamie Foxx, who played Electro, in the other two versions, will also be in this movie.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So there's going to be shitloads of crossover multi
Right.
universes.
They
All
better have Michael Keaton as Vulture again.
exactly. Well, that's the one thing that I really enjoyed about those movies is they without you even knowing, they introduced Scorpion.
Hmm.
Well, we also they also introduced Shocker, which you did know, the Tinkerer, and shit, there's a couple others too. That
Lizard.
yeah, uh, so you got to meet most of the Sinister Six,
Right.
and they're also saying that there's a good chance coming soon in the MCU, Keanu Reeves playing Kraven the Hunter.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
But I can't see Craven the Hunter as like this laid back, relaxed dude.
right. If he plays Kraven the Hunter more like he played John Wick, where he barely speaks,
Yep.
I think that'd be great. I just watched all three John Wick movies this weekend.
Okay. Or
And,
if he plays him even like he did Constantine,
yeah, which
you know?
I thought was a really good movie. I was
Yep.
hoping to see another one.
Right. But I like the guy that plays Constantine in the TV shows too. The British
Oh
dude.
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
I mean, I want to see the new Venom movie.
I do too. With Carnage,
Yep.
it'd be good.
Yep. I've always been a fan of Venom,
Obviously,
It,
look behind you.
right. I mean, but like when we went to the comic book store today, they're like, buy a ticket and buy a raffle ticket and get this grade 5, or they had Secret Wars #8 where Spider-Man gets a new costume,
Hmm.
the one that's hard to find.
Yeah.
Like, and you can, for a chance to win this, and they had it graded. It was graded at a 5,
Mm.
and I'm like, I would enter, but I already own it.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, I read those things when they came out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I'm like, I wanted to get back into comic books, and I want to support my local comic book store.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and that's why I told him, like, it's like I want to get back in comic books, and if I'm gonna do it, I'd rather do it through you than through Amazon or anything else.
Yeah. Sometimes you pay a little bit more, but you get it right away.
You do, but he does these things where you get a punch card and stuff like that,
Oh,
and
see,
he
that's
gives,
cool.
like, he has days where you go in and roll a d20, and that's percentage off you get.
Hmm.
He does little things like that, which is really cool.
Nice.
And like today, it was free comic book day, so every person that came in got to pick 3 comic books to take home, and then you got like 16% off your purchase.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I spent $100.54 exactly, so it probably would have been like $116.54.
Right.
So I saved $16.
Which, hey, $16 is $16.
Right, because comic books aren't cheap anymore.
Yeah. Well, I remember back in the day, the Marvel Universe came out where it was just like an encyclopedia of every character.
Hmm.
And I was buying those every month. And I thought that was outrageous at that time. That was what, 85, 6, 7, something like that is when those came out.
Yeah.
That era, and they were $1.50 a piece
Right.
back then. I was like, man, God, that's so expensive. That's so
Yep.
expensive. Because I remember we used to get those bundles, those packages when we were kids. You get 3 comics for 25 cents.
Right.
It's like, ooh, that's cool. Because there was a shitload of them that you get those bundles, but a shitload of them had the covers gone.
Hmm. or you'd get them, and you could only see the cover of one, so you only knew one comic that you're getting, and then so you get like, okay, well, this one's Spider-Man, so I'm getting that. Now I also got Archie, and then I've got like the Smurfs.
Right.
Fuck.
You've got the next episode. You got like the entire anthology of Dazzler.
Right.
You know, and trust me, okay, before anybody jumps on me about Dazzler, yes, I realize how fucking powerful that character really is. But when you're 8, 9, 10 years old, as a boy, the last comic you wanted was a roller skate wearing disco queen.
Right.
You know,
right.
When you could have Wolverine,
yep,
Dazzler.
Right. And I mean, yeah, she's powerful, but her character was boring in the 80s.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I'd much rather. I would have bought. Well, I was buying like She-Hulk and stuff like that. So Dazzler, because she was more interesting.
I'm gonna name drop right there. I mean, you brought that up. So it was 2004, I think it was. I was doing improv
Okay.
theater, and I got I got invited to go up to Canada in this international improv festival. Okay, it was one of 3 Americans that were there, and one of them was actually teaching. So, which was to me, it was cool. I'm like, wow, you guys invited me? This is
Right.
sweet. So I go up there, and there was a young lady that was performing with us there. She was from Regina, Canada, and she was immensely talented, extremely talented, funny little girl. And she was only 19 at the time, which is weird because she looked like she was 8, but we were in a pub after one of the shows and she's drinking. I'm like, aren't you like 6? But so I got to know her a little bit. Her name was Tatiana Maslany.
Okay.
She is going to be She-Hulk.
Really?
Yeah, in the Disney Plus series going on here soon.
See, like, you know who I thought would have always made a great, like, Jennifer Walters?
Who's that?
Her Jennifer Connelly.
Oh yeah.
Because she has the look. She looks just like her.
The one issue I have with Tat being cast that is she's like 4'11".
Yeah.
And now she's going to be Jennifer Walters, who's like 6'4".
Right.
You know, so it's a Jack Reacher type issue. You know, like Tom Cruise plays Jack Reacher in the movies, but Jack Reacher from the book was always talked about being this immensely enormous individual, like being like 6'8", and here 5'2" Tom Cruise playing the same guy.
Right.
You know, suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. But well, anyways, so folks, I hope you enjoyed our freeform episode. I don't remember what we talked about.
We talked about a lot of shit.
That's my summation.
It works. So insert season 4 here.
Tune in next time for your favorite podcast jockeys. And then come watch our show too.
Exactly. All right. Peace out.
Bye.